Good morning. Today's topic is genetic engineering, and the learning objectives of today's topic are: explain the basic procedures and methods involved in recombinant DNA technology and genetic engineering, explain what is meant by cloning of the DNA, describe applications of recombinant DNA technology. So, these are the objectives that need to be achieved at the end of today's topic. Then, genetic engineering. What do you mean by genetic engineering? Genetic engineering is the construction and repair of the genes of the living things. It is possible to synthesize a gene in a laboratory and then introduce it into a living cell, which will synthesize proteins corresponding to that gene. So, an artificial gene was first synthesized by an Indian born American scientist by name Hargobind Khurana, for which he was awarded with the Nobel Prize. Recombinant DNA. So, recombinant DNA technology means the DNA molecule that are extracted from different sources and chemically joined together. For example, the DNA comprising of an animal gene may be recombined with the DNA of a bacterium. It is known as recombinant DNA technology. So, the history behind the recombinant DNA technology discovery. So, it starts in the year 1953 with the discovery of the DNA structure by Watson and Crick. Then, in the year 1967, there was isolation of DNA ligase enzyme. And then in the year 1970, there was isolation of enzyme restriction endonuclease. And in the year 1972, Paul Berg generated recombinant DNA technology. And in the year 1973, Cohen and Boyer produced first plasmid vector which is capable of being replicated within a bacterial host. So this is how the recombinant DNA technology has been evolved from years. And recombinant DNA. So recombinant DNA is a DNA formed by the hybrid combination of two DNA fragments derived from different sources. In vivo, genes often undergo recombination. Genes can also be recombined in vitro to produce new combinations that do not occur biologically. Recombinant DNA technology involves isolation and manipulation of DNA to make chimeric or hybrid DNA molecule. So, what is chimeric DNA? Chimeric DNA is a recombinant DNA containing genes of two different species. Example, molecules containing both human and bacterial DNA sequences is known as chimeric DNA. Actually, chimera was a mythological creature with the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and a tail of a snake. Hence, the chimera, the name was given to the recombinant DNA because here also there are two different genes of two different organisms are combined to form a recombinant DNA. Hence, it is known as chimeric DNA. A number of techniques have been used to construct the recombinant DNA. The procedure for making recombinant DNA is the first one is the isolation of DNA, then cutting of the DNA with the help of enzymes restriction endonuclease, and the cut fragments of the DNA are joined with the help of enzyme DNA ligase. Then amplification of the DNA is done with the help of cloning. So this is how the recombinant DNA are made and amplified. Let us see one by one. Then the vectors used in recombinant DNA technology are the plasmid vector, lambda-phage vector, cosmid vector, expression vector, and yeast artificial chromosomes and bacterial artificial chromosomes. So these are the mostly used vectors in the recombinant DNA technology. Then plasmid vector. A plasmids are small circular DNA molecule that are separate from the rest of the chromosome. They replicate independently of the bacterial chromosome and are useful for cloning DNA inserts less than 20 kilobase pairs. inserts larger than 20 kb are lost easily in the bacterial cell. Then what is restriction endonuclease? So these are the enzymes found mostly in prokaryotes. Restriction enzymes cut the DNA of any source in a sequence specific manner. The restriction enzymes or restricted enzymes are named according to the bacteria from which they are isolated. For example, E. coli is isolated from Escherichia coli and BAM-HI is isolated from Bacillus aminoliquefaciens. And restriction endonuclease recognizes the specific base sequence of a double helical DNA, usually 4 to 6 base pairs in length, and cleave both strands within this sequence. Most of the DNA sequence recognized by restriction endonucleases are palindromic. So it means that both the strands of the DNA have the same sequence when read in 5' to 3' direction. So here you can see in the diagram that the palindromic sequence from 5' to 3' direction are read as CTTAAG. In another strand also the palindromic sequence is read in the form of CTTAAG. So this is called as palindromic sequence, where the enzyme restriction endonuclease acts. Then construction of recombinant DNA has got 4 different steps. So in that, the first one is fragmentation of DNA by restriction endonuclease enzyme. Second one is isolation of specific human DNA, and third one is insertion of isolated human DNA into vector to form a chimeric or hybrid DNA molecule. And the last one is joining of 2 different cut DNA fragments by enzyme DNA ligase. Then the first one is fragmentation of DNA by restriction endonuclease enzyme. Some restriction endonucleases cleaves both strands of the DNA so as to leave no unpaired bases on either end. So these ends are often called as blunt ends. You can see in the diagram the enzyme HAE3 cuts the DNA to form the blunt ends, whereas the enzyme E. coli cuts the DNA to form the cohesive or sticky ends. So here some restricted endonuclease cleaves both strands of the DNA so as to leave no unpaired bases on either end. These ends are often called as blunt ends. Some restriction endonucleases make staggered cuts on the 2 strands, leaving 2 to 4 nucleotides of one strand unpaired at each resulting end. These are referred to as cohesive or sticky ends. So cohesive or sticky ends are formed by the action of enzyme restriction endonuclease E. coli, and blunt ends are formed by the action of enzyme restriction endonuclease HAE3. Then different restriction fragments of the DNA can base pair with each other if they have the sticky ends which are complementary with each other. Therefore, 2 unrelated DNA fragments can base pair with each other if they were cleaved by the same restriction endonuclease enzyme, both the human DNA as well as the vector DNA. So here you can see the action of 2 different restriction endonuclease enzyme. So the action of enzyme restriction endonuclease enzyme E. coli produces sticky ends, and the action of enzyme restriction endonuclease HAE3 produces blunt ends. Then the second step is the isolation of specific human DNA. Once the DNA has been cleaved by the enzyme restriction endonuclease into fragments, a particular fragment of interest can be separated by others by electrophoresis or HPLC. Then this is called as isolation. Then the third step is insertion of isolated human DNA into vector to form chimeric or hybrid DNA molecule. So a specific selected fragment of the DNA of the human genome is inserted into a vector to form a chimeric DNA. Then the last and final step is joining of two different cut DNA fragments by DNA ligase. After the fragments of DNA, one from the human genome and another from the vector DNA, have base pair, the ends are covalently joined by the action of enzyme DNA ligase. Restriction enzymes in conjugation with DNA ligase therefore can produce vector containing recombinant or hybrid or chimeric DNA. So once the DNA fragments are cut with the restriction endonuclease and they are inserted into the vector and they are ligated, now the chimeric DNA or hybrid DNA is ready to get cloned. Then construction of recombinant DNA molecules. So here you can see the action of enzyme restriction endonucleases, which E. coli restriction endonuclease, which produce sticky ends. So in both the DNA of a bacteria, the vector DNA, and the human DNA, the same enzyme E. coli acts and produces the sticky and identifiable sticky ends. Once these sticky ends of the human DNA and the vector DNA are ligated with the help of enzyme DNA ligase, then the recombinant DNA is formed and which is ready to get amplified or cloned. So now the cloning. Cloning is a technique developed for amplifying the quantity of DNA in vivo. Cloning allows for production of a large number of identical DNA molecules. So cloning of human DNA in bacteria using recombinant DNA technology. So cloning of human DNA in bacteria using recombinant DNA technology. So in this, the first step, the introduction of recombinant DNA into appropriate host cell. So the recombinant DNA which is formed is inserted back into the bacterial cell or host cell by the process called transformation. The host cell that contains recombinant DNA is called as transformed cell. So first one is introduction of recombinant DNA into the appropriate host cell, and the host cell, by taking the recombinant DNA, gets converted into a transformed cell. Then the second one is amplification of recombinant DNA. So here the host cell containing the recombinant DNA are incubated under conditions in which they replicate rapidly. As the host cell divides, in addition to replicating their own DNA, they also replicate the DNA of the vector, which includes the human DNA. Subsequently, a relatively large quantity of human DNA can be isolated from the cells. If the host cells are grown under conditions permitting expression of the human DNA, the human proteins produced from this DNA can be isolated. So at the end of amplification of the recombinant DNA, a large number of desired copies of the cloned human DNA as well as a large number of desired proteins can be isolated by using the technique of recombinant DNA technology. Now the applications of this recombinant DNA technology in agriculture, it is used for growing the crops of your choice, like pesticide resistant crops, fruits with attractive colors, all being grown in artificial conditions using the recombinant DNA technology. And in pharmacology, it is used for artificial insulin production, drug delivery to the target sites, and in medicine it is used in gene therapy, antiviral therapy, vaccination, synthesizing clotting factors, etc. And the other uses are also like fluorescent fishes, growing of fluorescent fishes and glowing plants can also be produced with the help of recombinant DNA technology. And the molecular basis of the disease The recombinant DNA technology is used to understand the molecular basis of large number of diseases. For example, it is used to understand the molecular basis for familial hypercholesterolemia, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, cystic fibrosis, and muscular dystrophy, etc. So, the molecular basis of this disease can be understood by using recombinant DNA technology. Then next one is, by using the recombinant DNA technology, there is the production of proteins for which are used for therapy, research, and diagnosis. So there are various number of proteins are produced by using recombinant DNA technology, which has got different functions. For example, the anticoagulants like tissue plasminogen activator is produced by using recombinant DNA technology, which is useful to activate plasmin, an enzyme involved in dissolving clot and used in treating heart attack victims. In the same way, the other proteins like human growth hormone, growth factors, colony stimulating factors, erythropoietin, blood factors, insulin, interferons, and interleukins, monoclonal antibodies, superoxide dismutase, proteins for diagnosis, and vaccines are also produced by using recombinant DNA technology, which are very much useful for various functions.